Hi, Ryan Rookfink. I'm here to talk to you about Bitcoins. Until 1971, the US dollar was based on the gold standard, and other countries have had similar standards. Rome had the silver denarius. All currency, up until this point, has been in terms of some sort of physical good. As a personal investor in Bitcoins, I'd like to make sure you all know what I really appreciate. Starting with prior cryptocurrencies, how Bitcoin actually works, and where it is today. In 1983, David Chaum, in his paper, Blind Signatures for Untraceable Payments, proposed using controlled anonymous transactions in a way so that a third party could verify a transaction has happened, verify it's a legit thing, but not know any of the data about it. So not knowing how much money was transferred or to who, and that uses cryptography at its heart to keep everything anonymous. In 1990, he formed the company DigiCash, which actually used this idea, but that went bankrupt in 1998, so that's not why I'm talking about that. Cryptocurrency itself is not a fiat currency. Like governments, the US dollar is a fiat thing because the US government can print more bills as it wants. With a cryptocurrency, all of the bills, everything is mathematically defined at the start with the protocol. 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto proposed in his paper Bitcoin, peer-to-peer electronic cash system, a peer-to-peer network for electronic transactions without relying on trust. And over the next year, he coded up a Bitcoin miner, which produces Bitcoins. Well, mining? You can make your own Bitcoins? Yes, but in order to tell you about that, I have to tell you what Bitcoins are. A user, like me, has a Bitcoin wallet, which is just a few small numbers. It is a private key or a seed that is used to sign transactions in a way that proves the transaction came from me and it prevents future tampering of the transaction data. All transactions are transmitted to every person who's connected to the network. The network confirms this every 10 minutes through a miner. The miner uses a hash function called SHA-256 to take data. A hash function takes a large number and makes it a small number in a way that's reproducible and not easily reversible. So a simple example is telling you the ones digit in a large number. If I could, 11 and 21 would both return 1, so I could easily verify that I have. Bitcoin miners compress all the transactions for the last 10 minutes, their own name, and a hash of the previous compression, calling this a ledger. This creates a long chain of verifiable transaction ledgers, so that you can at any point say, my transaction was in this block of the ledger, it actually happened. And anyone can verify that. A miner gets a finder's fee for actually hashing the ledger together, so there is an incentive to actually mine for this. They get, at this point, 50 Bitcoins for hashing that. But in order to keep this competitive in the Bitcoin protocol, the hash value returns has to be beneath a certain number. So miners will add junk data to the end of the ledger in order to get the hash function down to return a smaller number. This is an intensive computation, so there are literally millions of miners right now working on this problem. And it's, with so many miners doing that, it's practically a lottery every 10 minutes. So now you know about how Bitcoins work, let's talk about what it's worth. As of 3 p.m. today, a Bitcoin trades for $618 US. Back in 2009, though, it was as worthwhile as just a college kid's word. First notable transaction in February 2010 was a pizza sold for 10,000 Bitcoins. That's a lot of money today. It was not much back then. In February 2011, Bitcoins finally traded for $1 US. In part because of the CryptoLocker virus of 2013. It's a virus that locks all the files on your computer. Bitcoins reached $600 trading in November, had a peak in December, this past December, of $1,000 per Bitcoin. But that fell down to about 600 right now. So I hope that by talking to you about what Bitcoin is, describing how it got popular, I've given you as much interest in it as I have, and that you guys are ready to fill your wallet with more than just Bitcoin.